Hello, Marie.
Hi.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to hop on here. I'm really excited to have you in this group as a expert. I mean, you have been an expert in my group for a while now. You were the only one, but now it's official. I'm officially bringing coaches in to have more help in there for the ladies. So without further ado, because there's lots of ladies joined since you were in the group, so let us know who you are, what you do, and how you can help.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's such a wonderful community, Joan. As you know, I've always loved supporting your community and your women. So my name's Anne-Marie Hill, and I'm a holistic mindset and wellness coach. So I help women during transitional phases of their life, just to help them to reconnect with themselves, to manage their mental health and their hormones, and also to embrace their physical and spiritual well-being as well. It's a real mission of mine to support women in creating a life of theirs that feels balanced, fulfilled, and just authentic. I think we get lost, don't we, sometimes, and especially when things are happening and we can start to feel out of control when we're not in control of everything. And so it's my mission to just help people to navigate, or women to navigate those challenges, and to just take that holistic approach, which I know you're passionate about as well. It's like all the pieces of a jigsaw to really help bring it all together to just feel fulfilled on a day-to-day basis.
Brilliant. So many ladies in the group that really need that. So you're going to help lots of ladies. Tell us a bit about what led you down this path then, Anne-Marie, because I know you've got a bit of a backstory there.
It's quite a story. It's funny, isn't it, as well? We were talking earlier, weren't we, about how things happen for a reason, and I do believe that that's true. And years ago, about 9 years ago now, I had a breakdown. I'd left a violent relationship that I'd been with for like 10 years. And after being on my own for a couple of stressful years, really, with no money and all the things, I won't kind of go into all of that, but it was a really stressful time. And like I say, fast forward a couple of years, and I met my now husband, and he moved in, and I went to bed one day and I didn't get up, and I had a breakdown. And I think it was because, looking back now, which I can do now with clearer eyes, I can see. I mean, I wasn't looking after myself, to be fair. I hadn't been for years. I hadn't prioritized myself for a long, long time. And so when I look back, the decline was happening, but I didn't do anything about it. And especially when I was on my own, because I had a 4-year-old, Chloe was 4 at the time, and I just had to keep going. There were many days where I just think, oh, I just want to stay in bed and put the covers over my head, but you can't. You've got 4-year-olds. You need to go to nursery and do all the things. So you just keep going, don't you? And again, just on that treadmill of just trying to get through each day, I think reaching that point where when Stuart moved in, it was almost, I believe, my body saying, you don't have to do everything now on your own. There's somebody here that can help take some of the burden. You need to now go and rest. And as awful as the breakdown was, and I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, it actually was a bit of a wake-up call. So, and it made me reevaluate everything that I was doing for myself, how I was living, everything, because I had the time to do it. Because I've been into personal development for many years, and so you kind of read things about checking in with yourself and stuff. You think, oh, I ain't got time for that. I'm just busy, But then, of course, I was still telling myself that as I'm laid in bed, thinking, well, I've got time. That's a cop out now. I've got all the time in the world. And so it really did. So I went to the doctors and, like I say, was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I was put on antidepressants, which I took reluctantly, to be fair, but I took them because I thought, well, I don't know what else to do. And they helped me to a degree, to the point where I wanted to then do something about it, but I didn't know what to do. So I went from like, is this it? Like, crikey, this can't be it, to, I want to do stuff. What do I do then? And so I turned to personal development and reading and watching videos and trying to find my own way back. I didn't get any other support. Stuart was amazing, don't get me wrong, but I didn't have somebody saying, look, here you go, here's some things to do. And that's what I needed.
Stuart was supporting you, running your house and looking after your child, but he wouldn't know what to do to support you to get well again, would he?
Exactly that. And he's never experienced this. And although, I mean, he's amazing and he's very sympathetic and understanding, but if you've not experienced that, you can't fully understand. Because even, and this is it. And so he was saying to me, what can I do? And I was saying, I don't know. I don't know what I need. I can't ask you to give me something because I don't know what I need either.
Yeah.
So it was a real kind of messy journey, really. So eventually I started getting out of bed, and I share all of these things I've shared, you know, and I will continue to share in your community, but also in my own Facebook group.
So many women will relate to what you're sharing. You know, they'll go, oh God, that's me. So it's good to share if you're happy to share.
Absolutely. And this is why I do. It took me a long time before because then I was judged for it. It was, you know, as you do, you start to talk about things for attention and stuff. And you think, well, actually, no, it's not. It's not for attention. It's because after feeling that I was the only woman in the world feeling like this, realizing then that I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I just think, well, actually, in my little corner of the world, the universe, you know, I have a voice then, and maybe somebody might listen. And I believe every day, and I show up every day thinking that there'll be somebody out there who needs to hear what I've got to say, and they'll find me. The universe will bring us together somewhere and somehow. And so that keeps me motivated and to keep sharing my story. And so even after I'd eventually got myself out of bed, I didn't leave the house for 6 months.
Wow.
Anxiety stopped me from leaving the house. And again, when I remember speaking to friends and they were saying, oh, you know, do you fancy going out? And I said, I can't get out the garden. And they were a bit like,
wouldn't understand it, would they?
Out the garden. You just do. But I couldn't. And so again, I'm kind of reading books and things and like looking for, you know, how to get out of your garden. Of course, there isn't a book that's called How to Get Out of Your Garden. I've looked, there isn't one, or there wasn't one back then. And so again, I've had to piece it together, and it took years. It took 6 months before I was leaving the house, so it didn't take me years to do that. But I would say it was a good 6 years before I would sit comfortably with somebody and say, actually, I think I've managed this now. I think I can manage anxiety now. And, you know, and if those kind of that, I always call it my chatter. I always do this, my chatter. When that kicks in, I know how to quieten it now. But that was 6 years. Wow. And that was 6 years of missing out. That was 6 years of, you know, even like taking Chloe to the park. I couldn't do that for a while. Taking her swimming. I remember looking out the window while she was going off swimming with Stuart and just breaking my heart, thinking, that should be me with them. And then her coming back so excited. Oh, Mummy, I did this at the swim. I can swim a width now. And you're like, I've missed it, you know. It sucks. And, you know, family celebrations, or I would, you know, we'd be invited to things. I'd say, oh, that'd be so nice. Yeah, okay, we'll go. And at the last minute going, oh, God, I can't go. And then not go and then feel really bad. And then stop being invited to things because obviously people were thinking, well,
anyway. Yeah.
And so it's just that vicious not going to things because my anxiety was too bad, but then being at home beating myself up because I hadn't been to the thing. You can't win. It's like, and so it's, for me, anxiety is like a real double whammy because it isolates you anyway because you feel like nobody else understands you, but it also isolates you because it actually keeps you away from doing the things that you want to do with the people you want to be with. So it's awful. And so kind of fast forward then, I realised a few people had said to me as I started to talk about my story, have you thought about coaching? And I was a bit like, crikey, what with my past? No, you know, who would want to learn?
That's what makes the best coaches, because you know what it feels like.
Well, indeed. And I learned that after, you know, like since then, it's like, well, yeah, actually, I'm very qualified to do it because I've lived it and breathed it, you know. But at the time I was thinking, well, I don't know. I've been in network marketing for 15 years now. Crikey, that's a long time. And when I started to say to Stuart, like, there's a couple of people now talking about coaching, he was like, well, you know, I think you'd be brilliant. I said, I can't coach people with mindsets and stuff. And he was like, but you do that already. And I realized that I did with my network marketing coaching. A lot of the coaching I did was helping people with confidence and with self-esteem, people who had joined our team because they were too anxious to go and work for somebody else, that they couldn't hold down a job, so they were looking for something. And so a lot of the coaching I was doing was about
you were doing it anyway,
giving people the confidence, and then that feeling of, you know, somebody joining the business being really shy, and then all of a sudden they're doing makeup demos on Facebook Lives and just going, oh my God, that's amazing, look at the growth in you, that's just fantastic, you know, and getting a real joy, a real true joy from seeing that change in somebody. And that, so again, over time I was like, I don't want to just confine this to people in our business. I want to see if I can help more and more women then, because I do believe that it is needed.
Absolutely.
I created a program, a 12-week coaching program, which just basically follows the steps that I took. And I wish I'd had that. I know it's very unbiased, but I wish I'd had that back in the day.
Well, you wouldn't have taken you 6 years, would it, if you'd have had that, you know? So a lot of the ladies in my group are going to hear you say that and go, oh my God, that's me. And they have the support here at the fingertips in the group with yourself and with all the other coaches to not have to suffer for that long, you know? So this is why I'm really happy to have you in my group, Anne-Marie, because you're going to help so many ladies, so many ladies.
And I think a lot of people just need to know, like, what do I do then? And where do I go for that information? Why communities like yours is amazing, because it's like, where do I go? And it's all here.
Yeah.
And so again, you know, if somebody is listening to this and thinking, oh, actually, that sounds like me, they know they can reach out to me then, and I can help them. And also, I have lived it. I'm not here to judge. I mean, I'm in no position to judge anybody. But also what I found and why I take a holistic approach now is what I realized was, I used to think of mental health and physical health as two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started to prioritize my mental health, I was thinking, oh, good on me, like I'm now prioritizing my mental health. But what I then realized was it's all connected. Same as our hormone health. So your gut health and your hormone health. So what you're taking in will affect gut health, which will have a knock-on effect to your hormones and it's little pieces of a jigsaw. And if there's something lacking in one area, it will have a knock-on effect in all areas. And I've learned this, but again, it's took me a long time to learn that. These are things that I know with the other experts as well. You've got some amazing people in this community with their knowledge and expertise, which will fill in those little pieces of just knowledge and just those little changes. And that's, I think sometimes as well, people think, oh, you know, I'm already busy. I've got a full-time job. I've got families, I've got kids and all the things. This is going to take ages, but it isn't. It's just little changes that you make, perhaps every day, just something else that you just bring into your daily routine. And have a huge impact. And the things that I coach and the strategies and things that I teach, I mean, they've served me for years. And they've served me through the mess. I wasn't allowed to take HRT. So I've no experience. I can't advise on it. I've no experience on it. I've heard it's amazing, but I've no personal experience on it. So when I was told that, I remember thinking like, oh my God, what we're going to do in the menopause then? Because I'd heard about this magic pill that I thought, you know, like, oh my God, and I can't take that. But what I realized was, and I'm saying to people, be guided. And if HRT is your path, take it. I'm not saying don't take it. But for me, I had to find another way. And the things that I did helped me through that.
Well, even with HRT, you have to do all the other things as well. It doesn't work by itself.
I was just about to say that. No matter what you're taking, whether it's supplements or anything, you still have to do the things alongside it. But of course, those other things then are the things that will carry you long term.
Yeah.
So they're much more longer lasting. And even now, because I have women come to me and say, can you fix my anxiety? Well, I can't. But also we need it to a degree because it keeps you sharp. It keeps you safe. You feel like driving, it's keeping you alert. And when you get into junctions, it's keeping you like an eye on what you're doing. So we need it. It becomes a problem when it stops us doing things. And so by giving people techniques and strategies and looking after themselves holistically, it's going to just allow them to carry through. We all have bad days. We all have things happen. We have grief. We have stress. We have all the things.
Yeah.
But by learning
tools, they've got the tools then in their toolbox to dip into as and when they need them.
to recognize it, that actually I can feel I'm having a dip, I can feel this chatter's getting a bit louder, or I can feel my confidence is dropping, or my tiredness is or whatever it is, realizing that that's happening and thinking, right, I know what I'm going to do, or actually I've stopped doing that thing, I need to bring that back in again because that's clearly been making a difference. And again, I call it loading up your tool belt, because it really is. It's having those little things to hand where you just think, right, I'm going to go and sit and do some journaling now because that helps to clear my mind, or I'm going to do 20-minute exercise because I know that's going to help me, or mindfulness, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, yeah. It's knowing what to do, isn't it? And learning about yourself, you know.
Absolutely.
I think midlife, you know, when we all hit perimenopause and then menopause and postmenopause, and we get to a certain age where our kids are older, so different things are happening. Our parents are older, so we have to look after those. Kids need support going out into the big world. Then you're dealing with all your symptoms as well. And then if you've got teenagers and they're having their symptoms, it's like all these things are going on. If you start learning about yourself, I think, at that age again.
Yeah.
Then if you're given tools, like you just said, to think, okay, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
And then applying those tools, and then everything just seems so much easier. It's hard to imagine when everything's
when it's throwing up
in the balls. Yeah, it does. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there?
For sure. And I think that's the thing about the menopause, and that was the thing as well that kind of surprised me. I knew about the physical, you know, and the hormone changes and the fluctuations and all of that. But then you're absolutely right. I've been experiencing this recently where Chloe's 16 now and she's more independent, and that kind of realization that my role in our house has changed now from, you know, up until now, you know, in like recent years, she was very dependent on me for everything.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't need me in the same way anymore. I'm not saying that I'm not needed, but not in the same way. And so for a while ago there, I was kind of like, oh, I feel a bit lost. All of a sudden, I've got time on my hands that I didn't have before because it was always taken up with, you know, must do these things and must, you know, I mean, I could literally go away for the weekend and she'd be fine. I know she'd miss me and stuff, but she's fine.
Yeah.
You know? And again, it's that thing of like, oh, I don't feel needed anymore. It's like I feel like I've lost my role. And it's funny, isn't it, as women? Because I remember having Chloe and thinking like, oh, I've just become somebody's mum now. I kind of lost. I was no longer Anne-Marie. You're Chloe's mum. And for a long time, you're Chloe's mum. You're like, no, I'm Anne-Marie. And hello. And then but I've gone back to now where I'm like, I'm back to Anne-Marie again. But who's Anne-Marie then? Because I'm still Chloe's mum, but it's like, oh.
You're better, wiser, Anne-Marie.
I'm an older and wiser Anne-Marie. But it's those sorts of changes as well.
Yeah.
The dynamics between the house, perhaps children leaving home where it's just you and your partner now, and things, you know, so it's not just the physical stuff either, it's all of the other things around.
Yeah. I have a close friend where all her kids have all grown up and got their own kids now. So she's a grandmother, which she's loving. But then her elderly parents live next door. So she's gone from having kids to look after
to parents,
grandkids to look after, and parents to look after. It's just like she's absolutely shattered all the time, bless her.
Yeah,
you know, so it's going from one thing to another.
Yeah, it is. It does change. You definitely. And I mean, my mum messaged me this morning. My stepdaddy's reached an age now, and he's starting to show signs of not being very well, and he's had to give up his car, and it's gone today. And she's messaged me saying, "Oh, Jim's car's just gone today," and I feel sad for him. It's a car. But it's that realization of, oh my God, like he's reached that age where driving's been his life, and now he's lost his car, his independence, you know. And again, it's those moments that kind of all hit, I think, around a similar age.
Yeah.
And you start to realize, like, you know.
And then losing a parent as well, then that sets you back, doesn't it? And then, well, we could sit here all day and talk about things.
That's the thing. There's a lot of changes that go on. This is why I talk about transitional changes for women, because there are a lot of them that go through, you know, throughout our lives. But being able to guide women and to maintain like that holistic wellness, looking after yourself. So when things hit, and they will, things will come up, challenges, all the things, that at least you've got a kind of a base level of good health and well-being that will just, I'm not saying you won't have a bad day or a day where you just cry or whatever, but at least you can still kind of wave, like go through it. Yeah, for sure.
So instead of it knocking you for 6, you're like, okay, this is sad, but
yeah,
I know what to do. I can handle it.
Exactly. I'm just going to take a little time, maybe a day, and just to kind of, focus on me. But then I'm just going to come back a little bit stronger and a little bit, right, I know what I'm going to do now. And then, as you say, instead of just being devastated and just like no good to anybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's really important. But, yeah, it's, I love what I do. It's so great to be able to help women.
Brilliant. I love what you do too.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Enjoying the rest of your day.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. Take care.
Well, I'll be popping this into the group in a few days because I'm putting one interview in a day, and it'll also be on my YouTube channel, so people can find you there as well.
Exciting.
Yeah, then you'll be in the group. People know who you are.
Amazing. Yeah, and if anybody watching this wants to reach out and drop me a message or whatever, please feel free. Feel free. I'm here to help.
Thank you, lovely.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Take care. Bye. Bye.